And audio is here. Audio is right there. That's working. All right. Now let's see if this does what it does. Do we hook in there? Maybe. Do we? Sometimes it catches it, sometimes it doesn't. Let's try this. If we go back here and do that, does that grab it? Yep, that grabs it. Okay, so we'll get rid of this. Get rid of our preview. All right, and hop back in here. Yeah, cattle and crops is, or the way that OBS relates to cattle and crops, it's a little bit odd. It won't grab it unless the screen has, I don't know, like written something. Oh. All right, let's get started here. Professor Farmstein says, let me reset my head tracking. Professor Farmstein says, in this scenario, I'll teach you about bull fattening. Do you know how long they stay in the barn for before they're sold and then slaughtered? You'll find out in this scenario. Have fun transporting and feeding the bulls. Thank you, Professor. And where's our, there it is. There's our cursor. I haven't played this game in a couple days. Muscle memory is already gone. All right. You are a part-time farmer, and in addition to your actual career as a plant mechanic, all right, never heard that before, you keep a few bulls and farm your own land. Currently empty, cleaned, disinfected, and prepared. Okay. Patty the farmer, how you doing? How's Saturday treating you? So now you can drive to the animal trader and buy the animals. The animals will be collected with a livestock trailer loaned to you by the contractor. This makes the journey as comfortable as possible for the animals. Okay. Let's see how this all works out. And I did back down the dead zones on the thumbsticks, but there was also about 100 meg patch for the game a couple days ago, and I feel like we're way too sensitive now. Yeah, we've got no dead zone at all. You know what? Oh God, let's go in here and fix this, because that's going to be problematic. So we want to go down here, game controller, Xbox controller. Yeah, let's bump these dead zones up a little bit. Let's bump these up to about 1. Yeah, let's try that. Oh, this is tricky. I could do it with the mouse, but if I do it with the mouse, then it's like we get dual commands. There is, in the input settings, there is a way to have things only impact one control device. And in fact, when we back out of this menu, if I can land it right on the 0.1. All right, 0.09 is going to have to do it. Ain't nobody got time for that. 0.09. 0.09. There's 0.10. So we'll save that. So right down here, it says, where is it? Only configure following devices. I have this set to all at the moment, but you can set it up to only write to one device. Patty, you had a calf today? That's fantastic. Everybody doing okay? Mom and baby doing okay? William, what's happening? Welcome to the stream. All right, that's a little better. Yep. So we're going to try to do IC again today within reason. So we will do that. We'll do that. We will do that. And this game's a little bit odd. Even when you're using track IR, you can still use the thumbstick. So it's possible to like permanently skew your view. And even though you keep resetting track IR, it's not centering back to the middle because your thumbstick hasn't centered it. Okay. So we want parking brake off, and we're going to go pick up the livestock trailer. Here we go. Good. Glad to hear it. What was that? What did we just run over? So is autumn typically when cows calve, or is that more of a springtime thing, or is it an all year thing now? With breeding programs and, you know, the turkey baster. Can you make a cow have calves any time of year, or is it mostly a thing that happens specifically at certain times of year? All right, I'm going to keep checking for traffic. I don't know that we always have to, but I do just out of habit. Oh, and I did, last episode I had the settings on ultra with the draw distances back down. I did bring everything back down to just high or very high. I don't know, one step below ultra. We seem to have picked up a few FPS, and the game doesn't look significantly worse, but honestly, I don't think it looks significantly better on ultra anyway, so it doesn't much matter to me whether we're on high or ultra. I'll take high just to keep things simple. And there was that patch, I want to say it was about 85 meg. Good over there. I want to say it was about 85 meg, and I never saw anything from Master Brains about what it was they were fixing, whether it was bug fixes or optimization or whether they added something. Unknown, but I did see that come in. And I'm trying to think what else. Yeah, that's it. I've just been, I hopped in that new DLC for Train Sim World. I'm really enjoying that, the Munich route, and I also did my first train. I decorated my first train with the livery editor in Train Sim World 2, and it is, it's awful. It's really, really bad. And I decorated the 432, the DBBR 432, sort of a commuter rail, passenger rail, almost like a subway. It looks like a bigger version of the Talent 2. So I went ahead and did that, and the first time I tried the livery out, it gave me a double-length train, and only the first set had my skin on it, and the other one was just the DBBR red. What? So I had to go in and create a scenario and specifically request just the 4-car train, so it didn't have the red train on the back, or the red second set on the back, I guess is another way to say it. So I don't know, man. I don't know about that game. All right, so we're pulling in here. I guess this is going to be the contractor every time. Yeah, and the icon I see down there, it looks like a gear, right, with some grains in the center of it. Looks like a gear with wheat in the center. And I assume that will always be our contractor logo. All right, so let's back this thing up in cab, always to the right, even though that's sort of on our blind side. There it is. That worked out. Oh, not quite. Let's square this off. All right. Oh, you know what? I said I was going to do IC, and then I hooked that up from inside. Oh, well. All right. Drive to the animal trader. This is the one across the river, I want to say. And in fact, before we go any further, let me stop right here and let's take a look at the map to see where we are and where the animal trader is. So if we go here, we are sort of the southeast corner, and we're going all the way up across the map, all the way up to the north central part of the map. Okay. Here we go. And what else is going on? I got some mods for the game. I don't want to use them. Well, we can't use them in scenarios, and I don't want to start career mode until we do all the scenarios, so we do have access to all the equipment. So we've got this scenario and then 2 more after, and that will open up career mode. And then we can also use some of those mods. It's nothing spectacular. A couple of mowers. New Holland Forager, and what else? Kloss Scorpion, and a big rake. We've got the sensitivity for the steering turned basically all the way down, but it does still seem a little, I don't know, a little quick sometimes. And having a rotating steering wheel, I feel like this is something all video game developers struggle with. They tend to look like they're jumping back and forth, right? It's really hard to get steering wheels to move smoothly. I know some race sims can pull it off, but a lot of race sims, the wheel just flips around like that. Truck sim pulls it off. But it looks like the wheel is really turning like radically left and right, and I'm just giving it, I'm not even moving my thumbstick, I'm just putting a little pressure on it, and it's like the smallest increment that the wheel can turn is more than I want it to, but so it goes. And what else? Yep, Truck Sim. Both Truck Sims are in 1.39 beta, so that is very cool. Hopefully we've got Iberia and Colorado in the next couple weeks. And what else? I saw a new train sim, and it's by, is it Simway or Playway? Oh, but it's a new train sim. It's not going to be out for another year. Last quarter of 2021, so about a full year from now. But it looks really good, and we'll have to see. I mean, all games look really good until you buy them. We're going to turn here. Yeah, we do. All games look good when you see them at E3. It's only when you get them downloaded. It's only when you test them in beta. So we'll see if that holds up. But for now, it looks like an interesting game. 500 kilometers of route, and that's quite a bit. Now I don't know if that's corridor or if that's like per track. Because if you've got 10 tracks side by side and they're all 50K, that's 500 kilometers. But you know what I mean. So we'll see how. Oh, and what's it even called? Can't remember. Sim Train 2021 or something. But we'll see how that pans out, and we've got plenty of time to monitor, plenty of time to see it develop. I'm enjoying driving on this map, being more in first person. I haven't spent in any farm sim. I haven't spent a lot of time in first person, but I'm enjoying this. It's got, I would say this map has exactly the right amount of driving. It's not quite a driving map, but everything is sort of decentralized. You feel like you're going places and doing things. All right, so we'll get down here across the river, and when we get to, careful. When we get to the animal dealer, we'll see. The animals used to be, in the beta, the animals used to be problematic. They had little minds of their own, and they were tough to get where you wanted them to be. So we'll see if that's been sorted out. And, all right. Quite the level crossing back there. I don't know if we'll ever be able to turn these markers off. I don't know if this is something specific to scenarios or whether we'll always have these in game or whether there is an option to get rid of the big yellow markers. Could be that's something that happens if you put a course in. Like we've got this blue line that we're following. So it could be that if that course was not in and we just knew how to get to the animal dealer, we could drive without the blue line and also without that marker. And what's the other one? Oh, when you're backing up, I'd like to get rid of the big white tractor outline. I find that a little distracting. All right. Yeah, that thing right there. The big glowing white tractor. All right, drive to the animal trader. We are there, and I'm guessing we're going to back up to the gate there. Pulling forward, pulling backward. Looks like pulling backwards. I want to try to swing this. Yeah, let's try to swing this from in cab. Right, so we'll straighten this out. We'll pivot around here. And now I can't see the gate. I think we're already in the trigger. Look on the other side. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're in the trigger if we just go straight back. That'll get us there. And I think we can buy them right now. put this back in gear. We're going to set the brake. Let's go third person just to see how it lined up. Oh yeah, that works. Okay, so now we lower this thing, and we do that with X or with A. With anything? How about with Y? Nope. All right. So let's go here. We want to raise and lower trailer. Oh, interesting. Okay. So everything looks like it's on separate menus now, whereas before there was one key to do that. Am I wrong about that? And we'll open the doors. All right. And then let me see. Buy 5 bulls. We can do this from in here. We can load and I'm really baffled. Okay, so that's for the loading process itself, but where do we buy the animals? All right, so let us... Oh, that's interesting as well. Our load animation is like half done. There we go. Okay, doors are open. Let's get rid of that. Let's go back in here. Open the door. Like so. Hop out. Close the door. Right? And let's look for a trigger. It says, buy 5 bulls from the animal trailer. I don't see 5 bulls. We'll find them. And this does say, says, yep, that does say load. Okay. What happens if we go here? Nope. Let's try this. So if we go in here, right? We buy them here. Yep, animal trader pasture. Okay, so we do that. Right? Okay. So you have to go into a menu. You can't do it via a trigger. Okay. Good to know. Right there. All right. Any change is stressful for the animals. For example, new animals of the same species nearby, or even moving into a new home. Okay. Get rid of that. Can't. There we go. Couldn't get back to the other menu. All right. So now, do we need to go back in here to do this? Maybe. So come back over here. All right. Like so. Okay, and now we've got a dialogue up on top. I think for this we will go third person. Yeah, let's go over here and we're going to start loading. All right, that closes the doors automatically and then it lifts automatically. Okay. Move the bulls into the barn on your farm. You got it. And to do that, we have to go that way. So brake is off. I'm going to back up a little bit more so we can clear this. It looks like an MAN truck right there in front of us. And here we go. Drive as carefully as possible because we've got live animals on board. And the farm is sort of in the center of the map. Makes sense, I guess. But the way the roads are laid out, you can't just drive a straight line from here to there, so it'll take a minute to get there. That's what I meant earlier about, it's not really a driving map, but you do spend a little bit of time getting from place to place. to turn down here carefully. Yeah, I would really like to dial back the sensitivity on my gamepad. It just feels, I don't know, a little bit too snappy. And I guess you can see a difference in ultra and very high. Yeah, looking at this mirror right here in front of us on the right, that's a little jaggy. Could use a little anti-aliasing. Now that may be a separate setting under mirrors, so I'll take a look. I just went with the overall setting. I didn't do any fine tuning. So we're good there, and we're good there. All right, we're on our way. Juku, how you doing? I haven't seen you for the longest time. How you been? Good, good. And just to clarify, because I've never had to ask you, is it Juku or is it Yuku? All right, right through there. I do notice the map is running slower with crops all over. Right, we've got a lot more crops on the map than for any of the other scenarios. And our frame rate is down in the 20s. And that is on, we backed off the ultra settings. So I think that is, the developers said they are going to be focusing on optimizing the game straight away. And I think that's probably best. It's really growing on me. It really is. I'm enjoying it. It's just a fun game to play. I really have no complaints. It's not perfect, but no game is. But I would like to see that frame rate bump up a little bit, particularly because the game is not the prettiest, you know? So if your game is not the prettiest, then maybe it could be the one that runs the fastest, right? All right, so we'll get turned around here, and I remember this from early access. The way this is set up is there are different areas in the barn. In fact, I'll pull up, and before we move in here to complete the scenario, I'll just walk into the barn. So we'll stop here, right? Door, hop out. Here we go. So the thing I really like about this game is I refer to it as the mechanics of farming. You can't just push a button and make things happen. So I guess this is where the bulls go when you pick them up and drop them off. And then down here, numbered, are their individual barns, right? 2, 4, 6, etc. So when you go into the different menus, you can move different animals from one place to another. You can, I don't know, sort them out, segregate them, and do different things with them, rather than just having all your animals in one place. Oh, and you've got this field over here as well. But you can move your animals all around here. So when we drop these off, I assume, if it's anything like the early access was, I assume we have to put them in the transport box first. We unload them to the transport box, and then from there, we assign them to their barns. Find out in a minute. All right, here we go. Brake is off. All right, the professor is telling me something. I'm going to read this quickly. When transporting animals, you need to take care because a bumpy ride can cause added unnecessary stress. Yep, once at your farm, you then need to move the bulls into the barn. First, they should be unloaded into the transport box. You can then assign them to their destination barn. Yep, so it is as it was in the early access. It's a nice detail. All right, it gives you, I don't know, more steps. I like more steps. I like more detail. We've already got some animals in here. Interesting. All right, so we pull right in here. Is that giving it to us? Are we too far forward? Not forward enough? I mean, it's giving us the trigger, but we haven't come out of this little box yet. Hang on. So we go here. Now this part is, I mean, we could drop the trailer and open the doors, but I feel like the animation isn't really, you know, it's not that great. So we'll just skip this part. So we're going to unload. All right, doors open. And they just sort of magically jump over there. So now we need to go to this menu, right? And this is our stock. We need to move these to, it said number 3, right? So we want to go barn 3, transfer. Wait a minute. Animal trader. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. So we've got this one. This one. Transfer barn. Okay, so we're just looking for animals in the transfer barn. Tricky. There. Right? It says these are all at the animal trader. Oh, no. Oh, it's never mind. Something else. Different menu. It's just, all right, so, yeah, that's barn 3, 5. That animal trader drop down was confusing me. Okay, so this one, barn 3, barn 3. Okay. So that is done. Return the trailer to the contractor. Okay, so we'll hop in here. Get on out of here. All right. All right. I have a question as well. When we come back and get ready to feed these animals, I have a question about how we're going to do that and what we're going to use to feed them. All right, right through here. And then right right through here. I suspect there's going to be a lot of driving in this scenario. Good. We're good. Right through there. Yeah, I really need to be careful with the steering. I feel like I'm getting a little more comfortable with it, but it's really, really sensitive compared to other sims I'm used to. All right, we'll see if they want us to back this in or just drop it in the yard. And it looks like, let's see. Yep, looks like just drop it here. All right, we'll just do this from inside. Try to keep things moving, drive back to the farm. Really? All right. And I didn't see a front loader anywhere, but if we're going to feed these animals, at some point we'll need to get a front loader. They may send us down to the implement store to pick one up, but we'll need that to get the feed mixer loaded. And I don't know if we're doing bales yet. I know when I was in the early access, there were not straw bales or bedding, that sort of thing. That could be in the game now. If it is, I imagine that will be part of taking care of our animals. There's also, as far as I can tell, there's no speed sensitivity on the steering. So we're going about 30 miles an hour right now. And the steering is even more sensitive. Maybe they'll add that later. Carefully. Almost missed my turn. All right. So now, what do they got for us? All right. Back in here. There we go. Go to the house. Okay. So we'll park this up. All right. Fried, how you doing? How's Saturday treating you? Caught on the curb. Come on now. There we go. All right, great. The neighbor is helping you by thoroughly cleaning the livestock trailer at the contractor, so it is clean for the next transport. That means you can get on with looking after the animals. You got it. Time passes. I'm doing good, Fried. I'm having a fantastic weekend. Let me see. We have a mixing wagon, the contractor. This means that this morning you need to go get the mixing wagon and give the bulls their daily rations, the food they eat in a day. You got it. Back to the contractor. Finally made it to one of the streams. Hey, I'm glad, man. I try to do this about 1 o'clock every day, but it doesn't work out to every day. It's like, I don't know, 4 or 5 days a week. Not quite every day. All right. Engine. Brake is off. Brake is off. Brake is off. Wait a minute. Hang on. Take a look at something. Is this the big one? Yeah, the interior is slightly different, and there are 3 variations of this in the store. 3 variations of the MB track. I think this is the bigger one. Collect the Fodder mixing wagon. All right, here we go. Back to the store. Back to, not the store, back to the contractor. All right. Yeah, the vehicles continue to feel pretty good. The handling is a little bit on rails, but that's not that big a deal. I keep meaning to sort of test the theory that you can't flip a tractor. You know, they're sort of glued to the road. There's been no point, I think, that I've been playing the game where it's felt like we're in any danger of flipping over a tractor. Oh yeah, like what? As far as on and off, what'd you come across? Oh yeah, you know, the crew that designed this, I'm told, I'm going with this because I've heard it multiple places, but the crew that designed and developed Cattle and Crops, I'm told that they're big time modders from FS 15, 17, 19, etc. And it's crazy to see so many of the mods that we've used in 15, 17, and 19 in Farm Sim. The different mods that we've used, it's crazy to see all of the, well, not all of, be careful with my words, to see so many of the features that we've seen in those great mods in base game. So things like if you drive too fast, you clog your loading wagon, right? Well, that's from the Mengele mod for 15 and 17, right? Or the field guidance. That looks like Courseplay to me, or the GPS mod. And if that's the case, and I see no reason why it wouldn't be, then all the mods that we added to make Farm Sim more realistic are included in this game as base game. And I'm really, really happy about that. All right, so now we're going to back up. And we've got an automatic door here, I think. We do. But I also like that you can turn that stuff off, because some people can't be bothered. They have no interest in that. And if you were constantly getting out to unclog your baler or your loading wagon or whatever, I think some people would be very not okay with that. Yeah, I'd say 15 and 17, Farm Simulator 15 and Farm Simulator 17, for me they're sort of the high water mark of the realism mods. I think a lot of modders kind of moved away from the Farm Sim franchise when 19 dropped. To me, it's more of a console game. So that's sort of, I don't know, it's like it rules mods out, or a lot of mods. Anything with a script is out. You use the Fodder mixing wagon to mix feed rations for the bulls. The bulls mainly eat maize for cows. A mixed ration consists of grass, maize, mineral feed, and concentrated feed. I can't really tell the difference, Jenner. And I never saw notes. I looked, but I didn't see notes from Masterbrains about what that patch was, what the update was. So I don't really feel any different. But I did notice in this scenario, there's a lot of crops in the fields, and it's really beating up our frame rate. We've been nowhere near 60 the entire episode. Whereas previously the tutorials and the first couple of scenarios, we didn't have crop in the fields, and I've read a lot of people saying crops is what kills FPS. So we've got crops now, and it's killing our FPS. But as far as what was in the update, I was not able to find notes for it anywhere, and I don't notice any difference. Carefully. So let me see. Grass we've had since early access. Maize we've had since early access. Mineral feed and concentrated feed, I think those may be new. We'll find out when we get to... Okay, I'll check them out as soon as we're done. I looked, I get most of my news on Steam in the headlines. And it could be that if the developer didn't do I don't know, it's like a little press release almost. But if they didn't do a news update, it doesn't pop up. So I'll need to go track it down manually in Steam. Not a big deal, but I think that's why, well, I know that's why I didn't see it, because there were no notes posted. But yeah, I'm curious what they did. Were you able to read it? Did you see what they said is different in the update? All right, so we're turning right in here. Yep, right here. I will say this though, we're only at 30 FPS, but it's a smooth FPS. I'm not getting any stutter or freeze. That could be improved. Could be a little different. Okay. And I have to stress again, I really don't have any complaints about the game. There's room for improvement, but I've been enjoying playing it since it was released. Whereas in the early access, it was maybe not quite as enjoyable. All right, so we'll park this up right here, right? Set the brake. I think we can turn the engine off. Yeah, I think we're going to be outside of this rig for a minute. So engine off. Hop out here, close the door. Yeah, really liking the IC. Okay. This is all mixed together so that each bull receives the same quality of food, and so the tractor in front of the fodder mixing wagon doesn't have to move a large mass at once. We leave the mixer running while it is being filled. Okay. Very cool. Very cool. I will check that out as soon as I'm done here and see. I did back from ultra settings. If you just hopped in the stream, I was talking about how I moved from ultra settings back to high or very high. So we want to go here now and turn this on. Okay. And then we'll hop back out. Oh, wait a minute. Hang on. We're going to have to look at this quickly. Oh, yeah. The air ride seat pops up when you hop out. Based on feedback. Okay. Yeah, I mean, when I look around the game right now, it doesn't look bad. It definitely looks different than Farm Sim, but that's not a bad thing. It's not Farm Sim. It's an entirely different franchise. So it doesn't look bad, but I think it could look better. So I would love to get back on... Oh, what in the world? Now we're at 60 FPS. What? Is it this tractor causing it? Fix crashes. Okay, cool. Fortunately, I have not had a lot of crashes. Yeah, we're at 40 in here. And we hop out and turn, and we go straight to 60. Okay. Yeah, fortunately, I have not had a lot of crashes at all. Right, the Colossus Aryan has a front loader. Fill the fodder mixing wagon with maize. Uncover the silo, but only as far as you need to. Yeah, this is an interesting detail as well. So many details in this game. So right here, right, we can uncover and recover selectively. Very cool. One section of barn needs one 500 liter. Oh, sorry, 1500. One 500 needs 1500. So we produce around 6,000 liters of feed for our 20 bulls. Okay. Here we go. So we get this open right here. In we go. Close this. And let's try to do this in cab. See how it works out. And if it's problematic, then we'll go third person. But as always, I have no perspective. And there's no side to side. Like right now I'm leaning left to right in my chair, and track IR only pivots your head. It doesn't slide it from side to side. So there's no way we can lean out and try to look over the fender. This is the only view we get. Right, so we open that, right? Yeah, I can't even tell if it's level. You never got stuck in the mud? Good, because that was very frustrating. You know what? Let's just go third person. Let's just go third person. And I need to turn this down a little bit. Different tractors, volume for the different tractors is, some are very loud, some are very quiet. All right. And this is 2,600 liters. Is that what I'm reading? So then we'll back this up. Yeah, it looks like 2,600 liters. So we'll fill this thing pretty quickly. Well, not fill it. We don't need to fill it, but to get our 6,000 in there. Right. So then up. And like so. Jenner, you know something I've always wanted in any farm sim, whether it's this one or the farming simulator franchise, I've always wondered why there couldn't just be maybe some meters or some lasers, right? It's not realistic, it's not immersive, but so when you're sitting in cab, there's just a little display telling you the angle of your bucket, how high up it is, you know, it doesn't seem impossible. And then some lasers for bales and logs and that sort of thing, pallets, just to know you're getting your spikes in the right place. Front loader handling is okay. There's one for 19 and there's one for 17, but I would love to see it in base game. I'd love to see it in this game too. And then the lasers for lining up pallet forks, I haven't seen that anywhere. That's just an idea that I have. Oh, careful. That's just an idea that I have, but I think it would make it a lot better. I mean, I've operated forklifts and bobcats in real life, and you can move your head around to see where you are relative to what it is that you're picking up. And you just can't do it in this game. Can't get any perspective. Yeah, front loader handling is all right. It's a little bit wooden, I would say, a little bit maybe kind of dumbed down. But one of my big complaints about Farming Simulator is bale handling, log handling, right? So maybe dumbed down is, maybe that's okay. Nothing wrong with that. But yeah, I'd describe it as a good balance. I mean, it feels like we're doing something. It feels like we're working. It's not automated or anything, but it's also not frustrating. I haven't done it with a side panel yet. I know some people play with wheel. They play with the wheel and pedals and also with a side panel or a side stick, so they can do both at once. All right, we'll back this up. We'll close that, get this thing out of the way. So right over here, set brake, get this down low. Right about in there somewhere. And then we'll go first person, engine off, open the door. There we are. Hop out, close the door, and we're going to go get back in the MB track. Here we go. So we're going to feed the bulls now by driving through the barn with the mixer wagon and unloading. Let me try that sentence again. Feed the bulls by driving through the barn with the mixer wagon and unloading on the correct side. Yeah, I had to pause in the wrong place. All right, so close this. If I can hit the trigger, there it is. Right, brake is off. That thing is still mixing back there. I think it is. Yep, still mixing. Okay, here we go. And I think we can go around this way. Yeah, we can. All right, fill the troughs in 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. So let's do, because they're split left to right, odd and even. So let's do the 2 even ones on the left side first. And then we'll swap it over to the right side and do those 2. All right. So we go here. Let's try to do this all in cap. If we go here, unload side is right. All right, we'll do 3 and 5 first. So if that's our nozzle right there, pardon me, we'll do 2 and 4 first. So here is 2, right? All right, that works. And then it stops. Interesting. The meter stops. Don't hit the mouse. Are you talking about a mouse on my desk, or are you talking about a mouse in the barn? 2 and 4. It did say 2 and 4, right? Moment. So this is 2. Why didn't 4 trigger? Is it further up? All right. I feel like we're missing a trigger here. Do we need to do 3 next? We're also going a little bit sideways. All right, let's straighten this out. Let me try the other side. It's empty? No, it can't be empty. Yeah, we've still got 6,300 liters in here. Let me try this. So if we go other side, right? Okay. So then if we go back to the first side, back here, get rid of that. Well, we're right in front of 4. Tell you what, let's do this. Oh, hang on. What? My neck. All right, so if we reset, yep, we're okay. Let's pull out the front and go all the way around and pull back into the other side, because I feel like we're missing the triggers somehow. Right, when we went from 2 to 4, we never hit the trigger for 4, but I also don't know if they want us to do them in order. Right, like 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's just pull back in and see if we can hit the triggers from this end. All right. Carefully, slowly. All right. That's interesting. So we're already in a trigger. What happens if we hit this one? Okay. So now let's see if we hit either 2 or 4. All right, that just put 3 liters in. So I guess that was topping off 2. Yeah, it's not giving us the trigger for, hang on, I gotta go third person. It's not giving us the trigger for number 4. That's it right there. Yep. It's just really, really small. Okay, and then we want to swap sides. Right. I cannot for the life of me figure out where these triggers are. And it's not giving, so right now it says we can unload, but I think we're in the wrong place. So we need to back up a little more till we're right here, right? And then that'll go in 5. So we're gonna go need to load up again because we didn't get number 4. All right, so that's 5. Yeah, I can't hit the trigger for number 4. All right, so we'll drive around here. And also that first trigger on the end was the transfer barn. So we've got some feed here that doesn't need to be here. It's not that big a deal. But, so we want this back on the right. Okay, so that's good. And we want this one right here between these two. We got 6 last time. We want 4. All right, that time it went right in, but we wasted some food on the other end. For some reason, that last time we went right into the trigger for number 4. We don't have enough food, so I got to throw a little bit more in here. But yep, it's just as many times as I tried to hit that trigger. Whoa, careful. As many times as I tried to hit that trigger, we never did hit it. First couple passes. So, all right. So now we're going to hop back in the Aryan. Throw one more load of food in there. Now I would like to see a little window where when it says unload, I'd like to see a window to let you know what silo, what barn you're about to unload into. Right? Because what I thought, on one of those passes, what I thought was barn number 4 was really barn number 6. All right. And I'm curious if we're going to get into mineral feed and what was the other one? Concentrated feed? Those are new since I was in the early access. So I'm curious what that's all about. Right. Put this right back here. All right. All right, and we need to turn this thing back on before we start driving, so it's mixed up by the time we get there. All right, we got that, we've got that. Here we go. Yeah, I'd love a little window that lets you know, whatever it is you're about to unload, lets you know where it's going to be delivered. Oh yeah, Jenner, I get what you're saying now. We could come in from the other side of the barn and unload from the other side of the mixer. Yeah, that's a good call. All right. So that's that one. That's 2. And then this would be 4. There we go, done. All right. The bulls are happy. They now have enough food for today. Fantastic. All right, Jenner. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate you. See you soon. It says return the fodder mixing wagon to the contractor. Is this thing still on? If it is, yep, it turns off automatically. That's interesting. So let's get this thing taken back. How are we doing? About 1 hour. All right. Yeah, I have to say, after driving back and forth to the contractor maybe once or twice, I think that would be enough. I don't know that we need to drive down to the contractor between every, you know what I mean? Every step of this process, we're driving all the way over here. I might have left that out if I was the dev. All right, so so we'll drop this thing off, and next is going to be what? Straw of some kind? Maybe? Right through there. Yeah, I'll take a look at those notes on Steam and see what was involved in this update. I would like to get back to ultra settings. I would. But I mean, the way it's, if this is how the game plays on high settings when there are crops in the fields, I can't imagine we'd be doing any better on ultra. I haven't really had a lot of frame rate problems. I mean, it hasn't been as high as I would like it to be, but I haven't had any problems. And I have to say, I haven't noticed any freezes or stuttering since we fired the game up today. So if that was part of the update, I'll take a look in the notes. But if that was part of the update, they did a really good job, because the game does seem to be playing smoother. Frame rate may be down, but it's playing smoother. So no complaints there. All right, let's get this thing dropped off and see what they got for us next. So right in here. This is nice that everything we drop off, we can just sort of dump it here in the parking lot. Can we? Where do they want it? All right, just like that. Okay, and then drive back to the farm. Oh, Debs, what are you doing with the driving? All right, here we go. Probably didn't have clearance there, but we went anyway. They know us in this town. And I feel like, yeah, I feel like I'm sitting just a little bit sideways. All right. So mineral food, concentrated food, and straw. I think that's what we're doing next. And we've also got to, I think we're going to take these animals back and sell them after we fatten them up. And that'll be just the opposite of how we started the episode. Hopefully we don't have to drive down to the contractor and pick up the animal trailer again. But I think we're going to. All right. I mean, maybe a little bit of chug right through there. Hard to say. All right. Carefully. Right up here. Unknown, Fried. I know you can buy or rent anything, but you get it at the implement store. I don't know what the difference is when you get it at the contractor. All right, so we'll pull up over here, right about in here somewhere. Right, brake. Close that. All right, let's see what the professor's got for us. I get caught on this curb every time I try to step up it, so What if we go up this way? All right. Time passes. All right. New day, new luck. Okay. Today you'll also have to feed your cattle using the fodder mixing wagon. The contractor is doing you a favor and is going to bring it over. Okay. Thank you. Whoa. There he is. So all these little warnings that popped up. All right. I do remember those from the early access. All right, the bulls are waiting for their food. Okay. You know, they definitely got the timing right on that one. I did not want to drive down there again. It's a decent driving map. The distances are pretty good, but I've got plenty of race sims. If I wanted to drive, I'd be in a race sim. Okay, so we'll get this thing hooked up. Good, good. We'll get this thing hooked up and we'll take it back over there. And I mean, are we just going to do this again? Really? It's got to be something different this time. All right. So this way. So same as we did yesterday, we're going to pull up here. We're going to park. Right? Brake is on. We want to turn this thing on. Right? So, again, 6,000 liters. Okay. I mean, did we not just do this? All right. Doors open. Right? Nice thing is this bucket is 2,600 liters, so we can fill it up pretty quickly. All right. There's something I noticed, and after we drop this in here, I'll show you. I don't know why it is this way. I mean, it seems consistent enough that if it's not by design, then it is at the very least something the developers couldn't sort out. But when we back up here, or when we go forward, if we hammer the brakes. Now, in fairness, you wouldn't hammer the brakes in a tractor, but the tractors do. They spin their wheels and they slide quite a bit. I don't know if that's meant to be accurate because they do have those great big lugs, and you know, it's not exactly a slick tire. So on pavement, maybe those lugs slide more than they bite. They're meant for field work, not being on pavement. But it does seem like 5 and 6 ton tractors slide around. It seems like they wouldn't do that in real life. They handle like they're on ice. So I don't know why that is, whether it's a limitation of Tombstone or whether the devs have it set up that way for a specific reason. But I do notice it. right? Well, I guess one thing about it is it does make you be sort of sparing with the brake and throttle, because you will slide. All right. Yeah, no complaints about the front loader. It's as good or better than the farm sim that we're used to. No complaints. All right. That's what I was waiting for. Let's make the animals happy and add a nice hay bale to the feed. He has stored the bales next to the barn entrance. You got it. So we want to... I need to remember to turn that cursor off. Anytime I forget, it messes up all my controls. Okay. So we will do this. Now, I still have not figured this out. So when we come over here to drop this, how do we know that this is what we're going to drop? Like when I hit B, which is the connect, disconnect button, when I hit B, yeah, see, it drops the weight. How do I select this thing? I can do it this way, right? We can go over here, right? No? Yeah. How do I drop that? Would it be left button B? Right button X? Yeah, this has been a mystery for me since I got this game. How do we select the bucket? So we got to go to controls, right? We want vehicle. Yeah, see right in here, select attached machine. This is blank. So just so we're not missing anything. Okay, so there's no control in there for that. Forward, backward, just confirming. Nope. Okay, so we need to add something here. What control do we want to use? So if we go, let's try here. No, that's not what I want. So this would be, what about, all right. What was I saying about their controls are set up really well? So if we go here, and then, is this one used? Yep, that's used. Let me see, is that one used? It is. We need a control that isn't used for anything else. How about that? There we go. It's a little bit awkward. I can try something else in there later. So now, when we go back here, how do we... Oh, come on, game. That drops everything. There we go. Okay. No game is perfect. That's what I tell myself. No game is perfect. Yeah, the reason I couldn't see that is because it wasn't configured. So now, got that. Drive to the hay bales. You got it. Oh, hang on. Here we go. First person again. Try to make that a little safer so we don't spear anybody. All right, so we're gonna grab a hay bale. Under the bale, Load the bale onto the bale fork. All right. Try to do this in cab. See if it works. Oh dear. Just one. Just one. Okay. Throw the bale into the Mix King. There we go. One thing I did notice as we were moving through the different things that were attached to this cloth that we're in, it didn't highlight anything. So far I have not been able to see a way to know what tool you have highlighted or what tool will be selected for your next, in this case, like connecting it, disconnecting it. All right, so we'll lift this up. All right. Yeah, no perspective. Are we about to hit it? Oh, all right. All right. And we will lower this. About like there. Back in gear. Brake is on, engine off. Here we go. So we're adding a hay bale to this one, but we still haven't done, what were the two that they said? Mineral food and concentrated food. We haven't gotten into those yet. All right, hopefully we'll be able to find our triggers a little bit more easily this time. So we'll hop right in here, like so. Brake is off. We'll confirm that we are, yep, we are mixing. Okay, here we go. So we're not going to waste any food this time on the transfer barn. I don't think we'll be able to. There are no cows in there, so I don't think any of that food would have been eaten. So that trough may still be full when we get here. Yep. The transfer barn, whoa, easy. The transfer barn and trough 6 are still full. No animals to eat that. Okay, so that one we don't need to worry about. And this will be the first one. Right here, number 2. There we go. Right. So there's number 2. Let's see if 4 is easier to find this time. Yeah, same. It's just, I don't know, doesn't see it. All right, well, let's do 3 and 5 on the other side. So we'll go here, right? And right there, get rid of that. So we want 3, right? That's 3. And we want 5. Yeah, same. All right, let's try this. So if we drive out here, we've got left side selected. Let's see if we can hit trough 4 from the other end. So that's 6. Yep, goes right in. All right, so there's number 4. So then if we go to the other side, now back here, and make this the right, can we back up into number 5? Huh. I don't know. This is... I don't understand. I mean, I saw it there just for a second. It flickered. But I feel like we're either doing something wrong. Ah, there it is. We're either doing something wrong or these triggers need a little fine-tuning. There's number 5. Beautiful. All right. We can keep the feed mixer overnight. It is best to park it somewhere to keep the feed clean. You got it. Park the Mix King and go to the house. Okay. So drive completely out of the trigger and then drive back into it. Yeah, they're very elusive, these triggers. But it could be that I'm doing something wrong. It's always possible. All right, so it just says park the Mix King. Well, it did say park it someplace where the food will stay clean. So let's back it in under an awning here. Right. And I'm just going to leave this hooked up. All right. Brake. Right. All right. Back to the house. We're going to skip forward a few months. Target weight of 800 to 950 kilograms. That's a big cow. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. I just referred to one of our bulls as a big cow. My mistake. That's a big bull. Right. The animals are fed day after day. After 19 months. This is going to be a long game. Graze there for another week and then be taken to the slaughterhouse. You got it. All right. We're going back to the contractor. Interesting. That light turned on as we... Oh, yeah. Automatic lights as well. Automatic doors, automatic lights. Okay. I'll take it. So get this open. Hop back in here. We want to do some lights. What time is it? It's 7:30 in the morning. Now we can skip lights. Yes, I think I can. Is it N? All right, I'm going to go hands off. Let's try N and see what happens. Yep, this is the autopilot driving. Somewhat recklessly. Yeah, that works. I don't know if it's going to hook up when it gets down there and drive back, but we'll just let it play. Oh, that's nice with the sun coming through the trees. It's a nice effect. The problem with jumping out is I tried that maybe 1 or 2 scenarios ago, and it wouldn't let me jump back in. I had to restart to be able to get back into the tractor. I'll just let it drive itself. You know what? While this is going on, I'm going to mute and have some water. I'll be right back. It's another downside to track IR is anything I do when I'm sitting at my desk, like water. Like having a sip of water, it just throws the camera around like crazy. Yeah, the AI is they drive very fast. All right, let's see if they're going to pull in here and get hooked up, or if they're just going to pull in and stop. All right, very fast and then very slow. Looks like, yep, looks like they just get to the target. And then you have to turn it on. I'm sorry, turn it off. You have to turn it off as well. Or it will keep driving to the target. Okay. Good to know. So we got that hooked up. And I guess now we just hit N again. Let's see if it can sort this out. Yeah, I think this could come in handy. And I love that you don't have to program it like Courseplay. You don't have to record it or lay anything out. You just tell it to go where you want it to go, and it goes from where you are to there, no problem. Well, I say no problem. I know in the early access it was pretty bad, and a couple of times since they went retail release, a couple of times I've seen the AI sort of freak out, but not a big deal. I mean, it's not a deal breaker. One thing I really would like to see is they turn off crop disruption for AI, because sometimes when they're karting for you, they will just drive straight through the middle of a field and cost you some money. Yeah, this will be great when you've got multiple tractors and you're doing various things on the farm, to be able to just tell a tractor, you know, go here and wait, rather than driving all over. Yeah. And it does work pretty well. All right. Yep. That's a good tip, Fried. I'll remember that. I guess because we don't really have this in Farm Sim, you sort of forget that it is part of this. I would say the game looks a little bit better early morning and late evening. Noon is not, I don't know, the lighting just looks kind of dead and flat. But in the morning, it seems like the map has a lot more character. All right, now I'm going to stop this here so we don't drive into the barn. All right. Yeah, it's reckless on the straights and a little too cautious in the turns. Now, if I remember this, yep, the bulls are first put in the transport box to make loading easier. So we'll go here. Is it here? Yeah, we'll go here, and then we want, what did he say? The bulls from barn 3 to the transport box. So anything in barn 3 can go to the transport box. He's in barn 3. Goes to transfer barn. All right. Barn 5, barn 3 to the transfer barn. To the transfer barn. Transfer barn. Okay. When loading the bulls, always bear in mind that they are large and not always cooperative. A person of barely 100 kilos cannot stop a 950 kilo bull. So everything needs to be secure beforehand so they can't escape. All right. I mean, are you going to tell me how to do that? Or just tell me that's a thing. All right. Load the bulls into the livestock carrier. You got it. Yeah, some of that stuff I think needs a little tuning. The game could communicate with you a little bit better. So this is the transfer barn behind us, is it not? Yeah, there it is. So we're going to load, start loading, lowering, the doors are opening. And I really want to see them get dynamic hose going. That's not like a cutting edge technology or anything. We've had that for quite a while. All right, here we go. Yeah, I'd like a little bit more feedback from the game. Now, if it's something that they don't want to do on screen, right, to maintain better immersion, then there need to be visual cues in the environment to give you that information. I can understand if they don't want everything to be a pop-up, because that can take you out of the game if you have too many things floating on the screen. But in the same way that, like, if we go third person, we have the HUD down in the lower right. If we go in cab, we have all that same information down in the instrument cluster there. So third person, not as immersive, but we get a HUD. In cab, more immersive, same info. So I would say the same rules apply when you're on foot or when you're in menus, that if you want to maintain the immersion by not having a ton of information on the screen, then you need a lot of cues in the environment. They definitely do that. Right? The way that he just said, you know, you don't want your bulls to escape, because I know you can move the animals around in this game by waving your arms. You can call them and you can kind of run them off. So the way that he said that, I thought we needed to like close gates or close doors or something. I was getting ready to go on a cattle drive, and it was just kind of a little real life tip. Thanks, Professor. Could be that some of these pop-ups and dialogue boxes were created when they were deciding what to put into and what to take out of the game. So it represents things that they planned on putting in, but didn't make it. But we'll see. When we get down here, I'll go out in the field and yell at the cows. I keep calling them cows. I'll yell at the cattle, not cows. I'll yell at the cattle and see if we can get them to run around. All right. We're good. Good. Sell the bulls to the animal trader. And how long have we been going? Just coming up on 2 hours. I think this is going to be the last part of this scenario. Right around here. Yeah, exactly. Is that something I really need to do? I mean, do you want me to walk this field before I mow it? Yeah, those tracks right there, I remember from the last time we crossed them. I don't know if that's by design or what the reason for it is, but they really bounce the tractor around if you go over them too fast. So we've got live animals on board, and we will be appropriately careful. Yeah, game looks good in the morning. I think this is a nice effect with the sunlight coming through the trees. I always wonder. Well, I remember emailing, not emailing, on a forum, on a board. I remember kind of chatting with the realismus modders about bringing crop loss in, right? That you could get a hailstorm that would wipe out your entire crop. Well, for that to still be fun, there would need to be an opportunity to buy insurance, right? And like in real life, you buy insurance and there is no hailstorm and it feels like that money was wasted. But that's, you gotta make important choices and decisions with money. So the idea that you could have a hailstorm come through, and it obviously wouldn't happen every year, but that it would happen enough that the idea of buying insurance would be a real thing. And maybe there's no hail for, I don't know, 10 years. And it does feel like wasted money, but the 1 year you do get hail, right, then you lose your entire crop. So the idea of having random rocks and sticks in a field, and you break a piece of equipment, let's get backed up here. You break a piece of equipment and it costs, thousands and thousands of dollars to fix it. And it puts your rig out of commission for weeks or months or whatever. I would love to see little details like that brought in. All the things that can happen in real life. Early frost, late frost. And I don't think we needed to pull up exactly right there, but we did. Load the bulls into the sale pasture. This is directly adjacent to the pasture you collected them from at the start of the scenario. You got it. There we go. Yeah, I would like to see that. And it doesn't seem like a super complicated script to write. I mean, I don't want to like speak for the developers. All right, received your revenue for your work over the last 20 months. Right. Contractor will take care of this for you. All right. God. Return the trailer to the contractor. Here we go. Yes, exactly. Anything that happens in real life. What? All right. Anything that happens in real life, all the uncertainty, not just in farming, but in any business, all the uncertainty of running a business. Who knows? There's a storm somewhere, and an area that typically makes a lot of a certain crop, and I mean like millions, tens of millions of bushels. That area is devastated by a weather system, and suddenly your crop is a lot more valuable, or just the opposite. You're the one who gets the bad weather. Fuel prices go up and down, so you can buy fuel futures. The price of fuel is very low, and the best way to take advantage of that is to buy 5,000 gallons of diesel. That's an investment. You know, if the price goes back up, you're smart. If it stays low, you've got a lot of money tied up in fuel. And I think you could bring a lot of those things in. That's not, from what I understand, that's not super sophisticated coding. It's mostly just a lot of tables. But something like a random piece of equipment breaking down, or even tie it to maintenance. You know, you can push your luck on maintenance, because maintenance on these big tractors is incredibly expensive, like thousands and tens of thousands of dollars for certain things that need to get worked on. All right, I'm going to put it off till next year. I'm going to put it off till next season, and as a result, my tractor breaks down, and not only can I not get it fixed in time to be ready when I need it, I'm going to have to rent one. You know, although I do think for that to work properly, the economy would need to be really, really well balanced. I think too easily those things could be either meaningless, right, or devastating, you know, totally put you out of business. So there would need to be a nice balance that, I don't know, felt realistic. And of course in gaming, anytime you're going to give people a problem to solve, there needs to be a way for them to solve it. And it's got to feel skill-based. You can't just give people a problem and there's no way to fix it, or make it luck, right? Because then the player hasn't done anything. And they don't get that sweet, sweet dopamine. So, yep, if you're going to create a problem for a gamer, there needs to be a way that they can solve it with skill or good choices. Yeah, exactly. Now they do have some of that in seasons. They do have some of the maintenance functionality, and I think they may have dialed that back a little bit for 19, but I want to say in 17 it was pretty bad. And I think, I mean, the most hours that I've ever put into a farm is Western Shore, and I'm about 200 hours. And I'm on the original equipment I bought. I'm told that if you run equipment long enough, it gradually starts to require more and more maintenance and gets more and more expensive until eventually you have to sell it and replace it. I've personally never got to that point on a map, so I don't know if that's like a rumor or it's something I have deactivated. But I think that would be a nice something to bring in as well. Now you probably have to accelerate it a little bit because people keep tractors for 5 and 10 years. And they keep them for a lot longer than 1 or 2 seasons. But I think if it was implemented correctly, that you could, I don't know, find a way to bring that into the game. Yeah, I'd like to see that in, it wouldn't necessarily have to be multiplayer, but I'd like to see a way to set it up so that players can trade vehicles. And we don't have to be on the same server. We just need to have the same piece of equipment. So base game, obviously, that would all be no problem. Mods, oh, a little trickier. But if I buy a piece of equipment in my single player game and I put 5,000 hours on it and then I sell it, that piece of equipment pops up in your store, in your marketplace on your single player game. So the more people that buy equipment and put a lot of hours on it, the more used equipment is available for other players. I think that could be a thing. And it's not necessarily multiplayer because that's hard to coordinate, getting people all together, same schedule, same map, same everything. But just being able to have more of a like a collaborative feeling to the maps. I mean, I'd like to be able to sell crops to real people, right? Like if I've got a bunch of bales to sell in single player and somebody playing single player needs bales, they buy them from me. They don't necessarily buy generic bales from the marketplace. They buy them from me. Planet Zoo. I've never played that. I've played Planet Coaster. I've never played Planet Zoo. I want us to back this thing in. Okay. So you can, what, if you've got animals in your zoo and they're breeding, you can sell the offspring? feel like we're way too close on one side. Are we gonna make it? What? Oh, a bit of a jackknife there at the end. Let's straighten this out. My OCD insists we straighten this out. Yeah, exactly, Fried. I think that would be a very cool feature for both crops and equipment. Are we... What is going on here that we're jackknifing the last 6 feet every time we get in here? That's better. All right. And then drive back to the farm. You got it. So we'll go back here. What is happening outside my condo? Some type of madness. And I suppose you could extend that out to every consumable, right? Yeah, I think you're right. It's nice to think about it, though. It's nice to dream about it. And I don't see any reason why you couldn't extend that out to every consumable. So again, something like fuel. If fuel comes on the market at a good price and you buy it, you might not buy it to use all of it. You might buy it so you can sell it to another single player farmer when the price of fuel goes up. So there's more of an active marketplace. Because that is so much of a part of real farming. You could probably have a co-op too. So you wouldn't necessarily need to be in multiplayer. You would just need to be a bunch of single player farmers growing the same crop. And you can pool all of it, sell it, and get a better price. Yeah, there's a lot of things like that, and I know I'm not the only person who's ever thought of it. You know, there have to be other people that are in this community that have come up with things to add to these games that would make them, I don't know. I mean, I noticed Giants, they seem to be really hung up on the idea of making Farming Simulator competitive. And, you know, that's cool. It's their company. They can run it however they want. But I've just never thought of a farm sim as being competitive. Bale stacking contests and that sort of thing. And I feel like they're trying to make this game appeal to like Rust and Minecraft players. And I don't know if it ever will. I think it's a different kind of sim. Farm sims in general, whether it's Farming Simulator franchise, cattle and crops, it's a different kind of sim. And for me, it's not competitive at all. So, you know, how they make this game appealing to people, the different ideas that they have about making it appealing to people, who knows? You know, who knows which of those are going to work? But I would like to see a little bit more, not necessarily collaborative, just a little bit more a feeling of, this is something, how do I want to say this? Not that I'm doing it in real life, but that this is more of an extended process, right? Like a years-long process, rather than just kind of a detached, always successful, you know, like silage. It's the thing I don't like about silage in Farm Sim. If you get in a jam, if you need more money, just mow some grass. And you can make hundreds of thousands of euros with a couple of grass fields. That doesn't seem right. All right. Interesting. Interesting. All right. Scenario completed. Hey, look at that. 2,000 XP. I love it. And what have we unlocked? More stuff. Now we've got, so we need to do... We need to do Winter is Coming, and we need to do Cob Cruncher. So this one is 2.5 hours. This one's about an hour and a half. Okay, we'll get these two done, and that will unlock every piece of equipment in base game, plus our mods. And once we've done that, I think we'll be able to, well, we'll know enough for one thing. We've been through the tutorials. And we will also have access to all the equipment. So whatever it is that we decide to do as far as getting started in our career profile, we'll have the equipment to do it with. Super. All right, that's it. I'm going to call it. Thanks, everybody. I do appreciate you. Hop on the Discord. Let's talk about farming or any other sim game that you're into. There's channels on there for everything. Right on. Thanks, everybody. See you next time. Take care.